No, it says I go alone or I go home. It needs to go alone. You're taking invisible ions, okay? No.
So how long?
We will be, and understand something, we will be doing transfusions with it here.
So how much time?
What?
How much time around the marathon?
Okay, so here's the deal. Nothing should be read on the box and then be the way it is. Everything, I've rewritten almost everything. I mean, if they ever really come and look at my products, they will shut me down the way I write. But I just said, who cares? All they're gonna do is slap my hand anyways. Right, and then I gotta redo it. So I'm not gonna write like the way they want anymore. So I'm changing everything to the truth. So, but with the Marigen, it depends. Okay, do you have a good digestion? dilute the acid so when it comes out, it's just gone. Okay? But understand, we're going to stir things up here. Some of you are going to get diarrhea. Some of you are going to get constipated because you won't let go. Some of you are going to get diarrhea. And you know why you get diarrhea on an emotional level? Because every other organ in the body is screaming out, make them let go. Because they're backing up, and that waste is backing up onto all the other organs. So your body sends all this water down into your large intestine and says, give them an emotional, physical release now. And then, because every time, do you ever notice after you've had diarrhea, you feel tired because you need your electrolytes replaced, but you feel emotionally and physically better. For my memory, I can remember a couple times I had to go 3 rounds. And then I just went to bed peacefully. Got up maybe an hour later and just feeling like, wow, the world's back.
Is that one after another?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't, when you do it, if you feel there's more, you stay there. I don't care how tired you are. Get it all out, wash it out. Because reduce the acidity and allow the healing. Let me tell you something. Inflammation is every autoimmune disease cloak of disguise. If you can get rid of the inflammation, you can pull the pants down on cancer. People that cannot heal from an autoimmune disease or even cancer, they're inflamed here first and here. Come on, how many cancer patients do you know are emotionally and physically stable? I see families spending tens and $20 and $30 and $50,000, and then they're at McDonald's, okay? Or they're arguing. I've been there. I've seen it. When there's not a healing going on, it's because the family hasn't healed. When the family doesn't heal, somebody has to die because somebody sacrifices themselves. How many times are you going to sacrifice yourself for your family? Don't take it anymore. Don't take on the suffering anymore. Teach them it doesn't work anymore, because maybe they'll stop doing it. And this is why I couldn't stomach myself, because I couldn't fix people. Got to understand something. I already had my own clinic at the age of 24. Yeah. Okay? Jeez. At the age of 25, I had the RCMP break down the door and steal all my records, try to charge me. All right? And then they ended up giving me a letter of apology. And then when I was 30, I had the CBC and Marketplace come after me, and the medical system in Ontario charged me with second-degree murder for trying to help HIV patients. I could keep going if you wanted. $250,000 charge from the Ontario Dairy Board for writing a book called Scary Dairy. Yeah, they didn't milk me out of 1 nickel. I can keep going with stories. But you have to understand, it doesn't matter. Be true. Yeah. You see this here? Look at this. You see that white spot? This is for me to remember to stay courageous. This is when I was charged with murder. I got eczema right here. That's the spot to remind me to never get scared again. Yeah. Yeah.
Related to vomiting. Can you speak about morning sickness?
What?
Morning sickness.
Yeah, guess what? There's not loving in the oven. You haven't been pooping right. Your liver's backed up. You're supposed to grow a little spirit into a baby, and you eat like the average person. And you didn't do a detox before. And also you didn't detox with your husband emotionally. Okay? We didn't really prepare. We didn't create heaven on earth for the baby. We kept all hell's bells ringing. Think about your pregnancy.
It was the first 3 months, all 4 times.
Yeah, I know, but that's a detox. And what happened if you didn't have that, then the baby, you would have lost. Would you rather lose the baby? You were emotionally, you were in panic all the time. You didn't even know it. How am I doing?
Great.
Yeah. You weren't digesting your food, so it was rotting in your stomach. And then it was rotting in your core. And then you had putrefaction in there, and it said, if we don't get this out, you lose the baby. Why do you think we're dropping babies more than any time in history? Because women have pelvic rot. Their whole pelvis is rotting out. It can't hold the baby. Yeah. Nobody can figure it out. Oh, it's really, really difficult. Let me see. I haven't pooped in 5 weeks. Wow, it's so hard to figure out. My back is killing me. Well, why is your back killing you? Well, because you haven't pooped. Because the infection, you've been pooping into your pelvis, and then the infection is hitting your back, okay? And it's, oh, you got a kidney problem. No, you don't. You're pooping in your pelvis. And then the infection creates the inflammation, and then the inflammation locks up your back. Inflammation locks things up, and it burns things up. Inflammation is a fire. It's an internal fire. So it dehydrates your tissues. And when you dehydrate your tissues, you stop the flow. When you stop the flow, you got a physical block. When you got a physical block, you've got to have pain, swelling, okay, or redness, or all of them. So now, if there's not peace up front, there's hell in back. Because this is your core. Your back is never to lift up anything. Your back was only to house your spine. How many people use their back to pick up things? Well, that's because you don't have any tone here. That's because you have no integrity in your intestines. If you were to just focus as far as, oh, I want a six-pack here, that's probably the best thing you'll ever do. But you've got to understand, I don't mean six-pack looking at muscular, but I'm telling you what you got to do. You got to make sure that 85% of your diet, okay, is high vibrational. Because the vibration from the food is right here, right? Isn't this where it all happens? Right here, the core, right? Did you know that this area here stores and makes 85% of all your energy on a physical level? It also, this area here, you'll lose 85% of your energy. Right? So understand this, 95% of all spinal surgeries are because you pooped in your pelvis. Okay? 100% pretty well. I got to say 99.999999 of all surgeries that are done on women in this area here, in the groin area, in the pelvis, are from you pooping in your pelvis. And I am so right. And I just want somebody to come and challenge me. And I want it to be on national TV or around the world, and I'll take that guy down. I'll put him in the corner with love, but so fast he won't even know what happened. Because guess what? Your large intestine is the mother of all organs. Your bacteria are the smartest part of you or the dumbest part of you. Your bacteria create more information and intelligence to your brain than everything else. So every time that you feel disruption down here, you're disrupted up here, you're not yourself. How important is it to take the daily cleansing tea? Every day, every day. If not twice a day, once a day. You know what? I'm just going to say it. You know, I took extra tea yesterday because I felt a little bit sluggish. I wanted to lighten the load, be here. I needed to be here. Because guess what? When you have a really good poop next time, watch how your mind clears. Instantly. When you don't poop right, you don't think right. And they know this. Why did they poison the food? Why do they have so many fast food places? Why do they get you to eat so much garbage? Because if you can destroy the good bacteria in here, they've got you. You are a zombie. You are the walking dead. Let me tell you something. I'm alert. Most people are not alert. You can pull their pants down, do whatever you want to them, and they don't even realize it. Because why? What did I tell you? What did I tell you this morning? Tell me what I told you. I told you that your cells have a signature. And if we can create enough inflammation on an emotional and physical level, they will create a thick lining on the cell, and you no longer get your spirit coming in. Welcome to why The Walking Dead is one of the most popular movies in the world right now, because we are the walking dead. And that's the God's truth. They have said that we have destroyed their good bacteria with antibiotics in the water, in the food, because they are. Where do you think the pills go when you urinate? What do you think's going in the toilet when people urinate? And the most that people take are what? Antidepressants, anti-inflammatories, and antibiotics. And they're in the toilet. And if you don't structure your water, doesn't matter how much you filter, you have the vibration of those drugs in the water, and you're taking them in. Everything is about energy and spirit. So, you know what? People say to me, well, you don't filter your water. Well, I'd rather not filter my water. If I could only afford one thing, it'd be a structure unit. So give me good filtered water and I'll structure it. But I will not just drink filtered water. I don't care what filter you're talking about. You need to structure it, and it cannot be electrical structuring. Electrical structuring doesn't work. You can't use electricity. Fast-moving rivers, waterfalls. Water coming down from the mountain is the best. That's the best in the world. So you want to go a local spring and type that in where you live. There's a spring everywhere. If you want the best, see if there's a spring in Ixtapa. Go to the spring and structure the water, and guess what? You've got the best water in the world. That's the best water in the world. Not Kangen, not ozone water, not filtered water, not reverse osmosis. No. Find a spring, and if you can find something coming down off a mountain, away from traffic, right? But we had one in Kelowna that was right on a main road, but the water was like beyond Thunderdome. And what I'd do is it's coming down the mountain, and there was a pipe they put there, and I'd stick my structure unit in and fill up the jugs. The best water in the world. Don't go for their sales pitches. There's no such thing as good bottled water. They sell Fiji here, and guess what? It's the biggest marketing crap I've ever heard in my life.
Why not the alkaline cane?
I didn't say don't do it. If you like it, get it. The reality is everybody's alkaline crazy. And understand, practitioners, they'll go, yeah, I've got my patient on 9.5. Yeah, really? That should be really good for their stomach when it's 5.5. So now you've just diluted the hydrochloric acid on a continual basis. Really. So 9.5 alkaline water is for a cancer patient. You're trying to save their butt, but it won't help. They need this. Okay? They need the C60. They need the curcumin cayenne. They need to get the cork out of their butt. They need to do the ultimate coffee enema. And it wouldn't hurt for them if they have some energy to do some therapeutic vomiting. Let's take the blockages out of the front door and get the blockages out of the back door, because this is just one big pipe. This is just a pipe to the external world, in, out. It's 30 feet long. That's it. Clean that pipe. Now Kangen, let's talk about it. Well, for one thing, it's MLM. Totally overpriced. Okay, so guess what? When I was 26 years old, I bought the first micro water units into Canada. And that's what a Kangen water is. Is it a good unit? Yes. If you can afford it, get it. But you still need to structure the water. Does it put lots of electrons in? Great, yeah. Does it make acid water that you can use to clean things with and wash your face if you've got acne, or to put it on your body to heal your body? I say it's amazing. I'm just telling you that I will take this before a Kangen unit any day. I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to down Kangen. I'm telling you it's a great unit because you can adjust the pH and you've got lots of electrons in there. But the reality is guess what? This releases electrons too. This releases hydrogen out of the water too. And there's nothing in this electrical. And I can take it wherever I go.
Yeah, 'cause that's the purpose of the alkaline.
What?
Yeah, that would be the best because that's what the alkaline is trying to do is make it like going down rocks and stuff.
Well, no. The alkaline has nothing to do with that. It could be. No, Kangen can't make a structured water.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't make a structure. You can't use electricity and have a structured water.
Right, but that's what they're saying is, right, that they're trying to do it like that.
Well, it's not doing it. So that's not true.
Okay.
But what it is that it does put more hydrogen in, more electrons in. It can change the pH. One last thing. So the reality is the surface tension by using this, okay, is 1,000% less than drinking water. That's why. So if we can, okay, so if a mosquito walks on structured water, it drowns. If it walks on Kangen water, it walks on it. It doesn't drown. We want something with no surface tension. Because the reality is, what is it all about when it comes to water? Hydration. How well does it get into the cells? And guess what? When you structure water, are you ready for this? Did you know until the water goes up into the atmosphere what does the atmosphere do?
Structure.
Oh really? It doesn't alkaline it or put electrons into it? No, it doesn't. It only structures it.
How many times do you have for water to it?
I just do it once. I'm in a hurry. So the reality is if you were to go in and put it through 5 or 6 times, are you able to handle the energy? Because it's going to go in and it's going to have a lot of energy, seriously, and it's going to go in and say, let's detoxify hard and fast. So I decide, just start easy with everything. Okay? Now, so we know, okay, so here's my point and I'll prove it. So we know that little Billy's doing a lot of spraying, right? Okay, we know that even before that, there was a lot of heavy metals and acidity in the atmosphere. So when the rain comes down, it picks it up, right? Then why doesn't it hurt the birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees? And why is it that the crops grow just as well as 500 years ago? Because structuring, oh, I love this part, because it doesn't matter if the metal's in it, the virus is in it, the bacteria, bad bacteria is in it, the chemical is in it, it can't touch the human body. It comes in and goes out without touching you. Now put that in your pipe and smoke it. And that's science. Yeah, so and guess what? You don't believe me? Then guess what? Go get a quart of wine tonight, and usually it might take you, maybe if you did 4 glasses, you might feel really sick tomorrow. And then go and structure the wine and then drink it. You will catch one hell of a buzz and you will not have a hangover. And you will not have a hangover. Why is that? Because the chemicals in it, and it doesn't even have to be organic, and you still won't have it. I'm right. You don't believe me? Then guess what? You can take structured water and you can put it, your rad? Put some structured water in the rad. Turn on the car. The water doesn't touch the engine, does it? Smell the exhaust just for a second. Then put it in the water container, the overflow, and then go smell it. And you won't smell the exhaust. The structuring of the water actually structured the whole engine. And it never even got into it. Yes?
What is structured water?
Structured water is, it means, okay, so it's no action. There's no action required. If you take a look in here, you'll see the way that these balls are placed, and inside these balls are different types of crystals, okay? And between the way the balls are placed to make the water spin in all directions at the same time. It unravels because whether you believe this or not, water is drank by at least 17 people and goes into 17 toilets before it's structured. So even though they say that they've purified it, all the frequencies from all the heavy metals, all the drugs, and the people that drank it, whatever mood they were in, are in it. When you structure it, even if the physical component is still there, the vibration has been neutralized and you're starting with a clean slate. Now try to wrap your head around that one. See that, and the harder that you have to understand this and to accept this is the more narrow your belief systems are. And it's not because you're dumb, it's because we're what? Programmed. See, we're going to keep on coming back there because there's no guilt. She's not stupid, she's programmed. Okay, I'm not stupid, I'm programmed. Okay? He doesn't want to hurt you, he's programmed to hurt you. But that doesn't mean you stay with him, because he may not want to change his program. Boom. He's always going to do that. Unless he has the ability to learn how to love himself, because he can't love another. And I know we just went off topic, but do you see how everything's tied in together? So thank you if I don't really want to drink other people's vibration. It's called fourth phase water. And if you don't believe me, look up Dr. Gerald Pollack, and he proved it. And also, what about, what's his name, the Chinese guy? Oh my gosh, it slipped me. Yes, I mean, he proved it. This is all science, guys. This is real science, okay? So that means, okay, that information is carried in the fluid. But here's the deal. When we do structured water, we have a 1,000% better chance of hydrating into our cells to take the nutrition that we spent money on. And then our detoxification is sped up. And also, we're not bringing in anybody else's emotions. Right? Yes?
I had someone the other
No. It's Rita first, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
I have the unit, the portable, and I have the one for my house, the whole
Yes.
structure. I just don't know how to wash it. Hot water, cold water.
Oh, you put it, you can put it on the top, on the dishwasher, in the dishwasher. Or you can just drop it into apple cider vinegar. Okay, that's it, and you'll clean it.
No soap or anything.
Oh yeah, you can soap it, and then vinegar it in hot water, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I brought it with me.
What?
I brought that
Yeah.
with me. So
Yeah.
it's
Go ahead, love.
Yeah, I was just saying how you were mentioning before with the structured water, and I was talking to somebody, and he actually got angry at me. It was at the resort, one of the people that's staying there, and he got angry at me for saying no. He was trying to say that the water out of the tap at the resort is bad for you, and even structuring it's not going to do anything. You're just going to get sick. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, I have my structure unit. I've been here for 2 months, and I haven't been sick, and I've been using the tap water. And he said, well, you're going to suffer soon then because you're going to get it.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to tell you something though.
That's your negative thoughts.
I know, but hold on though. We walk from that.
Yeah, I did.
No, but you got to. But make sure that you walk away without getting anything on you.
Yeah.
Okay? Getting anything on you. I don't want to be right. I want to be happy. Okay? I don't want to be right. I just want to be happy. We're sharing information here. Nobody said I wanted to be right. So everybody can make me wrong. I really don't. It doesn't matter to you. To me. And it doesn't matter to you. And that's just good enough. It's got to be good enough. So I always want to bring it back to don't get any on you. Okay? And all it was his views were threatened by a view he's never heard. So now you give us his name, we won't tell him, and everybody will bring up structure water to him, and we'll carry a structure water unit around. Everyone will do that. And and he'll see another one? And then he'll see another one, and then he'll see another one, and then he'll come up and go, hey, Dr. Wolf, what? Where can I get one of those? No, you can't have one. You weren't nice to Ramana. That's it. Go drink the tap water. No, I'm kidding. So understand something. So allow people to get in your face. And the more magical, okay, guess what? I'll tell you, if anything like, if I would have brought anything up to like this to my father, that would have been just, you know, that would have been the end for me. That would have been the end. Because guess what? Magic doesn't happen. Magic is life. We are the magic. Let it happen all the time. You know, try to open up your mind a little bit here, okay? All right? Okay, so do you believe that the invisible is more powerful than the visible?
Yes.
Then why can't we believe in the structure unit? See? It's just a block. It's just a block. Okay? So, you know, if we spent all week here just talking about the structure unit because we all want to make you structure unit salesmen, my gosh, you know, you'd be out there just talking to everyone. Because now we've got, that's our main program, right? And then if we attach some money to it, do you know how threatened Kangen dealers are? Do you know how threatened distiller dealers are? Reverse osmosis. And the worst water for you is reverse osmosis and distilled. Because where do you find that in nature? Nowhere. That stuff will kill you.
What if you structure distilled?
Oh, it's wham bam, thank you, man. You just put the breath of life back in.
Okay.
So one can structure reverse osmosis water, doctor?
Oh, thanks for that. Now you called me old. Yeah, wait till you see what I'm going to call you. What?
So, Darren, you didn't finish your thought about if somebody's in your face, and you were...
Let them be right. Okay, you know what I'm going to say to myself? Is it worth the energy? No. If I were to say, hey, yeah, structure water, and you go, wow, that's really interesting. Can you tell me more about it? But if the guy starts off and goes, you don't know what you're talking about, I'd go, you're absolutely right. Sorry about that. I'm on my way. Why? I'm going to save that energy for the person who said, wow, that's interesting. I don't know if I believe it. That's good. That's all they had to... they don't have to believe it, but it's interesting. All right? And if they're really steeped in religion, just walk. Because miracles don't happen anymore. They only happened before.
Oh, really? Oh, no, that's not good.
Right? Listen, way long time ago, miracles would happen. People would do all kinds of things, and they would do these things that we never see today. The things that used to happen don't happen now. Do you know why? Because they didn't happen then. So they can't believe in normal, but they can believe in something they can't prove. But I can prove this, but they're still not going to buy into it.
When we let go of our bad beliefs...
No, you don't let go of your bad beliefs. You welcome in good ones. See, that's the thing. No. We got to watch out what you just did. To let go of your bad beliefs means you have to focus on them. If you had to focus on your bad beliefs, it means you never let them go. So what do you want to believe in? Just decide what beliefs you want, and then you just focus on those. You guys, okay, all right, so let's say me and Dana were together. You don't understand the problem that we have. Okay, we don't need to understand the problem. We need to understand the resolution. The resolution is learning how to love ourselves and each other, and then uniting in that. No, you never listened to me. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? It's always focusing on the problem. We don't do that anymore.
The miracle is loving ourselves.
The miracle is the solution, and the solution is you connecting to your breath. The solution is the slight smile. The solution says, if we actually did love each other, which we don't, what would we do? Because you think you do. Are you needy? You know why people stay together? Because they're needy. I didn't say, see, you took it. See, there, she's defending again. I told you at the beginning that she has, I will be the defender of all the victims in the world. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Yeah, I know, but that's gonna get you into trouble. I did not say that everybody that's together is needy. That would be me and Lori are needy.
Yeah. and
Right?
just wanting to be with each other. Right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
The reality is we're not together because we're needy.
Yes.
And understand, 99.9% of all couples are needy. I don't want to need her.
Right.
I want to be with her. Is that okay?
It's perfect.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Perfect.
I don't want to need anyone. And you know, people are going, oh my God, who does he think he is? Because right away, we've been taught that we need people. I don't need people. I love people. There's a difference. If I need someone, then I'm feeding off of them. I'm sucking off of them. I don't need to be with you. I love being with you. Okay. Troublemaker. All right. Yeah, I can't help myself. Can't touch that thing. Okay. All right. Next.
Technical question about structured water.
Yeah.
So I ask patients to put both reverse osmosis system and structured water unit under the sink. When it comes with the instructions, if you have another unit, it says to go install the reverse osmosis system, structured water unit first, then go through reverse osmosis. You know, I would think it would be the opposite.
Okay, first of all, going through the system does not take away the structuring.
Okay. That,
If you structure the water first, it's easier on your system. Because you just lowered the surface tension by about 1,000%. So now it's not as hard on your system. Right? Okay, anybody else? Next? Okay, then let's pick products. What do you want to hear? What product do you want me to talk about? Let's do that. Which one?
Talk about the difference between infinite iodine and iodide.
Yes, I will.
I've got a lot of thyroid patients and clients that ask me about that, and I'm not.
If they're thyroid patients, then you want them on the iodide.
Okay.
Okay, but hold on. You want them on the iodide because it directly supports the thyroid and the parathyroid. So iodide is going directly to the situation. And you know what? You can't take too much. If I had an iodide patient, a thyroid patient, and they could not lose weight, they did not have energy, you do know that that's called depression, right? But before the depression came the anxiety, right? So first they were anxious and then they became depressed. Because your brain has to stop anxiety and give you depression. So if I had, let's say, a power plug here, and I plugged in 12 plugs into the power. Okay, so I've got like an old plug going into old wiring. Then I took a power plug and it had 12 plugs on it. I plug in 12 different things into that power plug. Okay, if I were to feel the inside of the wall, it would be heating up. I could even start a fire. And what you're doing is you've created a fire in your brain. So when you've got too much going on, okay, and you get anxiety, if you turned it into excitement, that would be different. Then you'd be connected to your breath and you'd be in the conscious moment. But you get anxiety when you aren't in the conscious moment and you slip back into the subconscious, then you run a program, because the subconscious loves to run its dysfunctional beliefs as long as it possibly can, because it doesn't know that it's hurting you. It just knows that you've been doing it. And I'll explain that. Just say cigarette after we're done here, okay? And then I'll come back to that. So what happens is, when you get anxiety for too long, okay, then what happens, you fire up your brain, okay, and your brain goes, we're going to stroke out. So it's the same thing with computers, or if it can't cool down, the computer's going to shut down so it doesn't burn itself out. So what happens is, they know that if they can create enough anxiety, that they can send everybody into depression. And if they can send you into depression, then you're going to take their drugs and you're going to do whatever they say to get relief. Wear a mask, take the V, anything they say. So we go from anxiety to brain burn. You actually are burning your brain. If you haven't watched the emotional chemistry of cancer, disease, and healing, I spell it all out. It's 2.5 hours. I spell the whole thing out. Did you know that there was a huge study, and this is the biggest study that was ever done on cancer? And it was a private study, and I'm going to tell you a little story. Help me if I lose myself here, but I just want to, it's all wrapped up in here. Here's the study. If we did an x-ray of her, we could tell her where her disease is and what her condition is in her body. If you told me that you have a certain disease, I could tell you where you've got scar tissue in your brain. Because you have scar tissue in your brain wherever you have a life-threatening disease. Because you burnt the brain, okay, and you got the scar tissue, but wherever it is in the brain has components. It's like there's the hip, there's the organs, it's all in there. And you can see exactly, and the type of terrorism, negative emotions you're running will burn a certain part of your brain, and then that will create a disease in the body. Now, if we were allowed to know that that was true, and we used that as a form of diagnosis, this would be a different world. Now, the medical science took hundreds of millions of dollars, taxpayers' money, and they did what was called the Genome Project, and they were going to prove for once and for all that all disease was genetic. Now, did you get the report? No, you didn't get the report. You know why you didn't get the report? Because it was a total fail. There was no genetic diseases. It was all epigenetic. So it all started here. And then we have the map to prove it. Because they had taken a look at tens of thousands of people in this other study to prove that, guess what? Scar tissue in this part of the brain, cancer in this part of the body. You go and take a look, you got cancer there, and boom, scar tissue here. Every case. So first, it's not about oxygen. No, it's not. It's about image. Image creates thought. Thought creates emotion. It's a positive one. Your brain just functions on that. Lights up beautifully. And if it's a negative one, it heats up. Now hold that. Okay? Ron? Trauma. Trauma. So what we call it is, we call it shell shock. But we changed it to PTSD so we could add some drugs to it. Now it's nice and cozy and friendly, and there's nothing friendly about it. So instead of telling people when you've had shell shock, we need to stop telling the story. But everybody who's had shell shock tells everybody their story. You can't wait. But you don't know the hell I went through. Yeah, and then they carry it around like a badge, okay? And then you just keep on making the program until you grow something. Or something falls off of you. Yes. Yes. But I went and I took it because it's too difficult to understand. I took 2 years and I rewrote it and I did a 2.5-hour video on it so that everybody could understand it. I dumbed it right down. And I didn't dumb it down that you're dumb. I made it that people will be able to understand it. Go watch the video.
Think about these children. The children now, they're all masked up with PTSD or whatever. I mean, it's just a wipe out of a generation.
I'm not going to think about them.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to think about them. But I'm not going to think about them.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing my part. But I'm not going to think about them. Because I need to keep my energy. Because I've got another 7 days with you terrorists. So understand something. I'm not going to let you emotionally get to me when you want to. And you don't want to, but guess what? You're already emotionally attached. And you are totally emotionally attached to pain and suffering. That is just obvious, like a billboard. And if you don't give that up, you need to give that up.
I was going to go to the opposite of what you were saying, or along the same lines, but kind of opposite.
Did you think I was talking to you or talking to her behind you? Her, not you.
I'm giving it to her, actually.
No, that wasn't for you. Again, the defense system, and I'm looking right at her.
Me? Or her?
Her. Okay, we have to see. So guess who got attacked a lot when she was a little girl? Okay, can somebody get her a security badge and a gun? I just would feel better.
I would too.
Or maybe just a whistle. Where were we?
You want to sort of remind
I'm like all over the place. I feel like a go-kart.
cigarette.
Is that where we are now? Oh, no. Let me come back to this. But here's the deal. You can actually heal the brain. So that scar tissue will never leave. But you can rewrite it. So here's something you didn't know. Do you know how many people have done studies and they have been banished for 150 years because they've said the brain you have is the brain you're stuck with? It's not true. I'm a genius compared to what I used to be. And it's just because I changed the image of myself, which changed the thoughts, which changed the emotions, that changed the chemicals and hormones that I made in my brain, and I didn't get on the pain train. So I'm a genius. And I'll tell you, I've got damage in this brain. I mean, the alcohol I drank, the drugs I did, and the physical abuse I gave myself and everybody else I could get away with. So the reality is it's there, but it's all been you overwrite it. So the damage is there, but who cares? It can just sit there. A whole new wiring system has come in. You create a whole new platform.
And you're the miracle.
That's right. Don't you forget it. I'm kidding. We are the miracle. That's what you should have said. So we need to change the way we talk. We are the miracle. We need to stay together. We need to be one. We need to be a nation of one. We need to stop judging each other and observing and saying, what can I do? Probably nothing. Let's walk away. Because sometimes you can't do anything for someone. And then can you walk away? Can you walk away and breathe and love yourself in that second? Oh, you heartless person, Daryl. Really? Really? Is that what you think? Seriously. Cigarette. Okay. So I can remember that when, I got to get off that chair for a minute. So I can remember when I was like 16 and I moved. And we moved to Halifax and it wasn't a good time in my life. I'll tell you a little story really quick though. So anyways, first of all, I'm 15 at the point this time and we're in Kitchener, Ontario. And so my mother decides to burn down the house to get the money, okay? But meanwhile, my brother was supposed to be away, but he wasn't. So she had somebody burn down the house, and luckily he got out. But then after that, we got the money, and then we moved. And we moved to Newfoundland, okay, where my grandfather's place was. And it's the craziest thing. Then we had to leave, and I didn't know why we had to leave, but the reality is we were skipping town because we had so much debt. But then the police came, so then we had to go back. But then we moved to Nova Scotia, but then we didn't have any money, so we actually lived in the slums of Nova Scotia. So basically, I was just like way out of my realm because things had really changed in my life within a few years. And the only kids on the street were smokers and tokers, right? And that's where I learned how to steal hubcaps and do all kinds of stuff. You're lucky you don't have hubcaps on your cars, or I'd be doing it. Okay. Okay. So anyways, so it would like, here, you want a cigarette? You want a cigarette? And then you know what? It only took a few days, and I said yeah, because I needed the love. First cigarette I took, oh my gosh, it burnt my throat. It right away, instant tension, right? But don't worry, guys, it's all going to be good, because that was just my body causing me to have a burnt throat, okay, and then have this tension and cancer. And then guess what? Within a week, I had taught my brain, because the subconscious part of your brain, it only runs programs. It's not got any intelligence in it, unless you have intelligent thoughts. And I didn't have a lot of intelligent thoughts because I didn't like myself anymore, right? Because the guy that my mother actually, just before she burnt the house, she came home one day and said, I got married. Well, that's cool. So you got married. That was like that. And I go, okay, fine, you got married. Well, but we changed your name. Well, it's not Daryl Wolf anymore, it's Daryl Antonio Tannardini. Really, that's cool. Anyways, the end of that story is they never did change my name, but I went for like 3 years with a different name. Yeah, it's a great life. Okay, so anyways, so all I'm going to say is this, is that then I became a smoker. And then my brain said, wow, it's not bad for him. We got the wrong information. Because the information that you put in is the information it decides to make a decision. So that's why you make dumbass decisions. And it's not your fault. So don't be beating yourself up for anything, please. Okay? So anyways, my brain's now going, oh my God, cigarettes. Ever since he started smoking, every time he gets a little bit stressed, he smokes, and then he steals 30 to 40% of the energy from his lungs and his brain, and he calms right down. But I'm not really calming down, I'm getting exhausted. So now I'm a smoker. So I smoked for a long time. When I had my first clinic, I would do a consultation, right? And tell people how to live their lives, and then walk out to the back alley and look in the bush, where the rock, move the rock, get the cigarettes, smoke 2 really fast, and then put a whole bunch of gum in my mouth, chew it, and then go back in and tell people how to live. Because I was still unworthy. Anybody got a cigarette? It was probably maybe a month or two ago, and I dreamt of smoking, and then I got really depressed that I did it in my dream, right? And then I woke up. Yeah. How was it? I didn't taste it or anything, but I was just like, wow, after all this time, why did you do that? Because it only takes that one thing, right? Because it's not a cigarette, it's a poisonous stick, because it's got 160 some chemicals in it. It's not like the Indians grew. The Indians could smoke all their life and they'd never have any lung problems. You gotta understand, these psychos, okay, poison everything, and anything that's addictive, they will poison it to kill you. And they've got it timed right so that, by 50 you've worked really hard, then now they can just suck the money out of you and not leave anything for anybody. Yeah?
I'm trying to get smoking, even though I'm doing a very good job. I smoke mullein and caroline and lavender mint. I know it's wrong, but is that better than the...
Well, let's not call it wrong. Just let's because see the guilt?
Yeah.
So now she's gonna create some more guilt, and now she's gonna smoke an extra one. Right? Yeah, none of us like you. I'm kidding. No, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. If you spent your time doing beautiful, lovely things for yourself, you'll just naturally quit. You will. The more that you can bring your vibration up and the self-love. Self-love is what stops you from quitting. There are people that quit because they're dying, okay, or they feel like they're dying. That's not a nice way to quit, okay? the best way to quit is to love yourself so much you don't want to hurt yourself anymore. So why don't you like yourself? Come on up here and sit here. I want you to tell everybody. Yeah. Why are you a smoker? Why don't you like yourself? Why are you trying to kill yourself? What did you do?
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, you did.
I knew the truth about things and it was always said and I didn't know what I was talking about.
What?
It's a long story.
Oh, go ahead. What?
Yeah, come on.
I had bulimia, I was a drug addict. I wanted to protect my cousin who was being sexually abused by my uncle. And I was put in a mental home, saying that I didn't know what I was talking about. It's a lot.
You know what?
And I give up the drugs, I give up the drink, I give up everything apart from the smoking.
Guess what? You're amazing.
No, I'm sick.
Stop it. You're not allowed to talk like that or you'll leave. I'm going to say it one more time. You're amazing. What are you?
Amazing.
What are you? I didn't hear you.
I'm amazing.
What?
I'm amazing.
Yell it loud as you can. That you mean.
Amazing!
That's right. You see our subconscious? This is why you still smoke. Because she said she wasn't. If she said, I'm amazing, when I said, you're amazing, and she went, I know I am. You're not allowed to put yourself down ever again.
I know.
Well, no, but if I give you a compliment, okay? All right?
Thank you.
Okay? All right? Because you are amazing. Because there are so many people that took the path you did. They're not even here. And if they are here, they don't want to be here. Look at you. You're radiant. Yes, Wayne.
I'd like to share my story about how I quit smoking. I wasn't a strong smoker. I would smoke 1 month, get a sore throat, so I quit. So my friends would say, oh, are you smoking this month or not? I have a spiritual teacher, and at that point I was smoking. And I had an opportunity to talk to him, and I said, you know, I'm trying to quit smoking. And what he said to me, he said, don't worry about smoking or quitting. Don't worry about smoking. Many masters have smoked. And I thought to myself, well, what kind of an answer is that? You tell me not to worry about it. 6 months later, I let it go.
Because it's the worry that keeps you smoking. Don't worry about it. That was a brilliant answer. But isn't that what we said all day? Just stop worrying about it. Stop focusing on it. Right. You know what? If you go and have a cigarette today, I want you to just go, like the commercials.
Hamlet.
Huh?
Hamlet.
Enjoy it until you stop it. You know, people mainly some people smoke all their life because they enjoy it. Other people smoke, and every time they do, they think about cancer and they die from it. And that was the whole game. The invisible creates the physical, and it always will. Anybody else? If not, then do you want to run through do some boring stuff? Talk about products? Huh? What do you want to do? Tell me what you want to do. We'll get through it all. If somebody has something special they want to talk about or do, just tell me.
Yes, we started with iodine.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, all right.
Is the iodine both for people who are working with like hypothyroid?
Both.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's for both. Okay, because see, hyperthyroid. So hypothyroid is I'm depressed. Hyperthyroid is I have a real autoimmune disease, and where I'm an extremist. right? You know as well as I do that everybody with hyperthyroidism terrorized themselves until they got it, to the point that they could have had thyroid storm and had a heart attack. Hyperthyroid, and that's just like when people say, I've got low adrenals. No, you don't. You've got terrorism attacks. There's no such thing as low adrenals. Why would the adrenals always be pumping? Because you're always in a sympathetic state. And the same person with the hyperthyroidism also has low adrenals. Except the hyperthyroidism is screaming more. If we were to fix the thyroid, they would be diagnosed with low adrenals. Okay? So anything hormonal, you're blowing it out. Okay? It's like put pedal to the metal, and then your foot on the brake, but the pedal's to the metal. You're going nowhere, and you're just sitting there and revving until you blow your thyroid out. Now with low thyroid can be anxiety, but it moved to depression. Do depressed people have a lot of energy? Okay, do depressed people gain weight usually? Right. So then we're going to say, well, you've got a low thyroid. Yeah, because depressed people do have a low thyroid. Because the personality creates the reality of the organ. Now, will the iodine help? Yes, it'll help. Well, especially for people that are depressed, we definitely, if you're depressed, we also know they're constipated, aren't they? Now, hyperthyroid have a tendency, they can be constipated, but they can also have diarrhea because they're always blowing out. Right? And then the hyperthyroid person isn't digesting, their food moves through them too fast. The hypothyroid person, the food moves too slow. Are you guys getting it? Yeah. You're actually learning stuff that naturopathic doctors don't even know. Isn't that something? You can't do a playbook. You have to feel people. Feel them. Listen to the words, hypo, hyper. Right? Know that everything that they have was first created by their emotions, which is first created by their thoughts, which is first created by the image they have of themselves. So you go to bed with a house on fire. That's it. But I never think about it anymore. You don't have to. Because guess what? You turned on autopilot, and the autopilot is your subconscious. It works without you. It's 3:15. Or you go to bed and you wake up at 1 o'clock. Yeah, because that's the routine you created. You can wake up. So when you wake up at 1 o'clock from now on, don't wake up upset. Don't wake up depressed. Don't wake up, except go, wow, yeah, I could get rid of some urine here. Maybe do a ionic calcium, and then let me just go breathe for 15 minutes and just be very quiet and see what comes in. And all you're going to see is love come in. And then you're going to go back to bed and you'll fall asleep like that instead of laying there. Oh God, I woke up and now I'll never get to sleep. Well, yeah, well, what is it? Your wish is my? That's it. And that's it. Because who works for you? The whole universe works for you when you work for yourself. That's it. The whole universe works for you when you work for yourself. Okay, guys, you know what? I got to write a story sometime. Look what we pulled off in 3 weeks. If anybody was here 3 weeks ago and they saw what we've done in 3 weeks, it's not physical force that moves mountains. It's the power of love. Okay? All right. So anyways, let's get back to the iodide. So the iodide goes directly to the parathyroid, goes to the thyroid, helps hormonal balance, does a lot of other things because it's still ions. What are the two things that run the cells in the human body? Calcium ions and iodine ions. They're the most important things that run the human body. And then guess what? In 1974, they took iodine out of all food. And then they replaced it with bromide. And bromide blocks iodine. And if you take a look, go and don't believe me, go watch The Surge. Thyroid problems. weight problems, hormonal problems, as soon as they did that. They want you dead. But they can only kill you if you're unconscious of the fact. There is a God, there is a universal creator, but understand the game. Understand the rules. Why can't you make this into the greatest adventure? You just don't want a boring love story, do you? Don't you want them trying to kill you and that you actually save the day? I mean, come on, well, that's what's going on. And all you got to do is make different choices. You just had to make different choices. But you're a little screwed though. Why? Because nobody else is going to make those different choices in your family. Because guess why? Because everybody wants what? Approval. Even if it what? Thank you. See, you're starting to get this. So believe it or not, right now you're a better practitioner than anybody out there. Because you got to understand the game. If you don't understand the game, then why are you just throwing A, B, C, D, E supplements at them? Right? Or like that's going to do it. I think right about now you're going, what will that do? It's not a life jacket. Any questions?
Would eating seaweed help to supplement our iodine requirements?
It would, but here's the problem. You don't want to eat it all the time. Why?
Because the sea's polluted.
Because it's a toilet. So you don't want to eat fish all the time. You don't want to, especially you don't want to have shellfish. They're the worst. Like shrimp, lobster, crab. They're at the bottom and they eat everything contaminated and decomposing. That's why when you're boiling lobster and crab and any shellfish, it smells like somebody pooped in your kitchen. That might be the reason.
Which one of the two help with the gums?
What?
Iodine or iodine?
Which one what?
What help with the gums, with the teeth?
For the gums?
Yeah.
Well, I think it would be mainly the iodine. Yes, the iodine, because it fights infection. Pardon?
Sean has some issue with his teeth.
Yeah.
And I was asking if I had.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be just taking the infinite, not infinite, no, give me a second. Immunity. Take the immunity essential oil, put 2 drops on your tongue, mix it with your saliva, and swish it right in your gums, and it's gone. And guess what? If you did that, okay, so now, remember Michael, the IT guy?
Yep.
Well, guess what? He had to go in between, and there was a lot of rat bat poop, right? And anyway, so his lungs, and I said, man, you better look after yourself. That doesn't sound good. And there was mold in there, of course. Oh, there's that mold again. But the reality is this. I told him, I said, put a couple drops, mix it with saliva, and swallow it. And I said, do that every 15 minutes. It was gone the next morning. Understand something. When you read something on the bottle, it's not enough. If you've got a 20-foot hole, you need a 20-foot ladder. And we don't do that. Practitioners don't do that. I want you to spend a lot of money and time focused on yourself. Loving and caring and investing into yourself. That's how you turn around disease. You don't spread it out. You go in light the first week, then you go deeper, 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 and then you go hard with it for 3 to 6 months, and guess what? You're cured. I'm not talking about supplements, I'm talking about everything. You go hard. Listen, I'm not coming to the weekly thing. No, I'm not watching TV. No, I'm not doing this. I'm going in, I'm going to make up with my body. For the first time in my life, I'm going to give my body. I've given everybody else my time. I've tried it. I've went everywhere, been everywhere else, done everything else, pretended to be everyone else, but it didn't work. Now I'm going to spend time with my body, okay, with 50 trillion cells, 500 trillion bacteria, and the rest of the molecules that have been giving me life, and I've disrespected them, and I'm going to respect all of these particles and atoms and everything else that I'm made out of. I'm going to come first. This body, this temple, this vehicle is going to come first. And you've been taught that if you do come first, you're a bad person. Well, I'm going to do what I need to do to feel good, to look good, before anything else. And I want Lori doing that. And I'm still working on that. Because if I didn't, you know what? Look, she's made differently than me. If she tries to keep up with me, I'll crush her. Just trying, and I don't want that. So what should I do today? Pamper, swim, go for a massage, do nothing. Take this week, at least you won't be around me. Try to see if you can center yourself. And I said, I've got lots to do here. Let me just go and then I'll be back. What about just getting real salt? That's it. Just get real salt. That's the best salt, I think, on the planet right now. Real salt. R-E-A-L, salt. Real salt. That's the best. Oh, they're blowing those mountains up so fast that the salt's contaminated. They used to use picks to get it for you. Now they're using dynamite because everybody wants it. Real salt. That's the one I would go with.
When you say real salt, you mean table salt?
No, it's called real salt. R-E-A-L. Real salt.
Okay.
Redmond's, yes, thank you. Redmond's real salt. Huh?
The local sea salt.
Local sea salt, yes. Find out who's getting it, if they took it and they got it, okay? The problem is you can't get it from Costco. They stripped all the minerals out of it and put it back in the bottle, and then they sell the minerals. I know, I'm just letting you know that sea salt, yeah.
You can get microplastics.
What?
Well, microplastics.
Yeah, yeah, you can. Microplastics, if you didn't hear that. Well, there's islands of plastic now. Yes. Yes.
So is the sand filled with salt or is it plastic too?
Next.
Can you please just give the name of that essential oil that you said to mix with water?
Immunity essential oil, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, it is, it's amazing. You put it on your throat if you're getting a sore throat, and then you take 2 drops and you swallow it and you feel a little bit of burn going down and you go, wow, really? That didn't last long. That's it. And then you take it 2 drops every 15 minutes until it goes. Understand something. Oh, I took them, but it didn't work. That's right. If you, the more on fire you are, the more infected you are, the bigger the hose. That's it. The longer and the stronger you run the dysfunctional belief, the more product you're going to need. Because we're trying to get vibration in, and because I can't get you to just unconditionally love yourself with a snap of my fingers, we have to use whatever we can to bring your vibration up. But what if we were taught that it's okay to unconditionally love ourselves? Well, then we would have minerals in the soil, wouldn't we? And we wouldn't be going to the corner store, would we? So everything else would be different. But that's not going to change, guys. Only you can change. Only you can stop going to the corner store.
Talk about the crystals.
Crystals. Well, let's do products first. Tomorrow I'll do energy medicine. So let me just, what time is it?
4:30.
4:30, wow. Wow, somebody had a big mouth. Okay.
Oh, by the way, there will be PA systems going through the entire hotel.
Really? So what?
He said it was okay for today.
Really? You're kidding.
No.
No way.
It's going in the bathroom.
So people are listening to this? Well, we won't even be invited tomorrow.
The bolsters.
I bet you everybody's in the bathroom dumping. Okay, so I'm gonna, I don't know what we should do. It's a half hour left, holy smokes. It doesn't matter. Tomorrow we'll do products in the morning, and then we'll do energy medicine in the afternoon. We're still doing really good. Yeah. How many people are just here for just this and they're leaving? And you're in and out, eh? Wow. No, you're here for a month. No, I know, but that's okay, but you're here for a month. You can't hide from me. Okay, well that's good. People need that. Just coming for 8 days is like, wow, that was, you know what I mean? It was like, yeah, but it was just like a movie. You want to instill it. You want to become the movie, right? You want to become the main actor of this movie. Not just, oh, that was a good training. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. You'll get some nuggets for your clinic, but you won't get instilled. It's very rare to see that. I mean, I wish it wasn't true, actually. Then we could all just go home and do it. Okay, let me just run through some things. Let me run through the Merigen, because I'll run through the things we talked about. Ozo Juniors for kids, okay? But you can also use the Merigen, okay? If they're small, we can just use this, but if we use Merigen, if it's good for 150 pounds, for a child, and the child was 50, I'd use 1/3 of a teaspoon, right? Because that's what it is, a teaspoon. And then 1/3 of the water, so instead of 16 ounces, it would be 5 ounces. But I will tell you, with Ozo Junior or the Merigen, when you're talking about autism, delayed physical or mental growth, I've never seen anything work like this in my life. Along with the infinite iodine and the C60. If you can get those 3 things into people, they're really my champions, okay? They're my champions when it comes to that. And also, well, let me not jump too far, okay? That was the Ozo Junior. The Megagen is for people that, I'm in really great health. My bone structure is perfect. If you were to do the Megagen, it's the least expensive, it's the least strongest, and you were to do that, you would never ever have a bone problem. And I know you may not want to believe this, but guess what doctors are doing now? What is the way that they're actually assessing or diagnosing people that they don't have cancer anymore? When their bone structure comes back to healthy. When your bone structure is back to health, you don't have cancer. Yeah, when your bone structure is not healthy, if you don't have cancer, you're going to get it. Because you have to understand something. What happens when people are getting in a lot of problems with their health, with cancer? Well, we find what? Hypercalcemia in the blood. Now, if you go to a doctor, he's going to go get off of all calcium products. Guess what? Biggest mistake you can make when it comes to this, because you could save their life. Because the reason why they have high calcium levels in their blood is because if your pH drops slightly, you go into a coma. If it drops slightly more, you die. So instead of dying or going into a coma, you're pulling calcium from your arteries and pulling it from the closest bones wherever the cancer is. Okay, are you with me? So that'll still happen even if you don't have cancer. If you have an acidic diet, or you went through 5 minutes of terrorism or shock, that's enough to draw tons of calcium, and you'll see your calcium levels come up in your blood, because you're out of here if it doesn't happen. So that's why when we were created, we have more calcium in our body than anything else. We have lots of it. And then the problem is the blue light and the EMFs are actually destroying our bone making and breaking, along with glyphosate, along with GMOs. I could keep going, but all of these things, okay, just remember this. A male reaches his peak at 28 sexually now. 25 years ago, it was 50. It's 28. Yeah. So this is, everything's getting flip-flopped, and it's all meant to be that way because they just don't want any more of us.
My older son's a semi-professional basketball player. What should he take? Because I know he's on his phone. Well, the other phone's taken away now. But
Pardon?
my older son is a semi-professional basketball player, so I want to know what calcium will be good for him.
Well, right off the bat, Merigen, if it's affordable. If not, it's Cardigan. Because Cardigan's for the joints. And the first place you're going to go is in your joints.
So you said the Merigen.
Yeah, if it's affordable.
He's
So
affordable.
let me just say this, okay? You're going to get a lot from this. We're going to go through your books, but not for a couple of days. I need you to go through your books. I know you're probably not going to, but everybody should be doing an hour or two of homework. It's just 8 days here, okay? And I apologize for not giving you the books as soon, but it was like a struggle to get these. I had no idea it was going to be like this, right? But you need to go start looking through your books, looking at the products, coming up with questions, things of that nature. I know it's a big book, but there's a lot of pictures in it too. Okay? But in that book, you will be able to assess anybody in your family to know if they've got parasites, fungal problems, and you'll know what emotional problems they have. Everything's in there. I mean, that's as small as I can make that, but that's a guide. That's a nutritional, emotional, physical Bible for you for the rest of your life. That's my 43 years in there. I'll tell you, that thing's probably got without exaggerating, I'd say that's got at least maybe 200,000 into that book. Just from rewriting, people helping, making the graphics, just everything.
I have a question then.
Yeah.
When will you go through the book so we don't have to bring it here unless we need it?
Well, it won't be tomorrow. Okay? Because that's your guide. I think it's more important we talk, right? Well, like I said, I don't use notes. Okay? You want to get to know this inside and out. We will spend a good part of a day just going through the book, right? But us talking and telling stories is the best way to remember things. Okay? And then then that's there for you to go through. All right? And then there's the non-surgical book. I would be taking a look at that too. But you don't just get to know, a little bit of the moves and things. Don't think you got to read everything in there. Okay? All right? The non-surgical book has been written about 20 times. Done over about 20 times. I don't know what else we could do to it. I think it's really tight now. I think we're 95% of the way there. I don't know if you were there, but I told the story, When I was 26, I went to Jamaica and made this technique with a manual typewriter with a couple little Jamaican girls. And that's another story. No, I was kidding. I worked on one and the other one typed. Whatever.
Me and my brother can tell stories together.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So, okay, let's keep moving. So yeah, Merigen's the one. It's really the big guns, right? It's the strongest one, and that's why if I get where the child is, on the spectrum, they say, then we could get away with this. But if the damage has been done more, then we really need to move to Merigen. Like I said, Megagen is great. Alzigen, we hardly even sell it. And this is for people who have dementia, Alzheimer's, and they never buy it. It just never sells. But you could take the Merigen and it's close to this, right? Yeah.
If a person is taking the black diamond, do they still take Merigen?
But they're doing two different things.
Okay.
So first of all, it would always be the black diamond first and foremost, right? And I would be doing, and the black diamond, never stir it. Just put it in and don't stir it. Okay, you don't have to stir it, it mixes itself. If you stir it, that little bit, it comes with its own energy pack. If you stir it, it'll stick to the sides. It was too much.
So it's a totally different thing that Americans doing.
Yeah, okay, so, okay, first of all, this is the only humic fulvic that is totally pure and the only nanofulvic on the market. We have the only process to get heavy metals out of humic fulvic. 95% of all humic fulvic, they use chemicals to try to break it down. We have no chemicals. We're pure, and we're the only one that can extract heavy metals out of it. So it's not the end of the world, because the heavy metals are not released very easy from the humic fulvic, but they're still not in there. When you take humic fulvic, you're getting 60 to 70 micronutrients. They're micro, very small. Okay? That's the fulvic. But when you're taking, okay, black diamond's different. When you're taking black diamond, you're taking the best of everything, the humic and the fulvic. You don't need the other products at all. No, you don't. And you need very little. You don't need much at all. Okay? I mean, I just ordered 4 kilos and it's $25,000. Yeah, and then people are going to go, well, that's just dead plant life. Yeah, no, it's not. So it'll drop off 67 micronutrients and then it'll load itself up with 3 times its weight in heavy metals, okay, acidity, and also it will grab bacteria and also the so-called viral fragments, okay? If you're taking this, no, you don't. No, but if you're going to do coffee enemas, I would still tell you to use the Tummy Love, right? And I would tell you to use the black gold. And the black gold, here's the difference. This goes right into your brain. This goes right into your brain cells, detoxifying your brain, so you know it goes everywhere else in the body. That's the difference. The black diamond, where is it?
Black gold?
I mean black gold, yeah, here we go. Yeah, the black gold is only for the digestive tract. So it's going in there and doing the same thing. But it's picking up all of the toxic waste that's in your digestive tract. That's why people fall in love with it. That's why it makes their bowel movements so well. And even though it picks up all this toxic waste all through the 30 feet, when it gets into the large intestine, remember, it's not a toxic product, because do you guys do realize that when any type of viral, bacterial, or heavy metal or acidity goes into a humic fulvic product, it's locked for life. When you poop it out or pee it out, it's not making a toxic environment. It's locked in there for life. So what I'm saying is that when it goes through your digestive tract and it gets to the large intestine, it's got 3 times its weight in toxins in it, but it's still healthy, and the bacteria use it as a foundation for making themselves stronger. Okay, that's why. And here's the other thing. Do you notice how people take a lot of good bacteria, but they never seem to get well? Right, because there's only one bacteria. What is it? Mummies. We're after mummies. Mummies bacteria will save your life, give your life back. It'll give your intelligence back. You do not get more intelligent by taking good bacteria. You can calm down the disruption in your large intestine, okay? But it will not give back your immune system. And 85% of your immune system on a physical level lives in your large intestine, and it's your bacteria. But it's mummy's bacteria. We're trying to bring back mummies, and everybody's got one left. Did you know if you only had one of that left, within weeks of doing our protocol, you'll have trillions. Trillions. So we're not, so I don't want to sell a good bacteria product. I've tried them all. There's some really good ones. There's some really amazing ones. But the reality is let's let the focus be on what we were given, because nothing can take that place, right? That's just like when women give birth and they go, well, I can't do the vaginal thing. Then I go, you know, and please don't get me wrong with this, but I said, get yourself a 2-inch by 2-inch sponge and then put it in the vaginal canal, and then put it in there when you go to the hospital and leave it in there. And then as soon as they do that, then take it out and then rub it all over the baby. Make sure you put it in its mouth. Make sure you put it in its eyes, ears, and everywhere on the skin. And guess what? You just won. You did the same thing as if the baby came through, and now the baby's going to have an immune system forever. And you use an organic, natural sponge. Okay?
If you use the Amerigen or calcium during a water fast, does that amplify the benefits?
If you what?
If you use the Amerigen during a water fast, does that amplify the benefits you get from it? More so than just using
Like, amazing. Now, the Amerigen's going to work anyways because it's invisible ions. But remember something, it's ions that carry on everything that's important in the human body and in the world. Right? But you know why it's amazing? Because you have more energy when you're doing an advanced water fast. Because now the 70% of energy you were going to lose that day, you're not doing it. It's working on the internal environment. You might say, well, I don't feel like I've got more energy, but you have more energy for healing. And then when the ionic calcium or the Amerigen comes in, it just goes, whoosh. Oh yeah. Oh, you're going to spend less money. They don't want you to fast. Oh yeah, they poo-poo on it. Fasting's dangerous. Why do you need to fast? Why do you need to detoxify? You know what? Look up, I don't know how much I'm in there now, but quacks.com. I've got tons of stories when I used to be in there, right? Especially when I was dealing with cancer all the time. But the reality is, you know, I'm called the Doc of Detox, and they used to bash me all the time. I think they're too busy now with other people. But the reality is they say this, well, if Dr. Wolf was right, which he's not, it's impossible for him to be right, because your large intestine's a detoxification, your skin is, your lungs are, your kidneys are, your liver is, okay? Your lymph system, your whole body is a detoxification organ. And my rebuttal was to them, is this. Yeah. Stop fucking around with the world. Stop poisoning us. And that's exactly what I said to them. I said, if you didn't do that, we wouldn't need any nature paths. We wouldn't need detoxification because we were already built with it. But no, you had to go and poison everything so nobody can keep up. The body can't keep up anymore. So that's why also, excuse my language, but that's what I told them. Because I wanted them to come and attack me. So this is why you can't just do a water fast, because a water fast opens up the floodgates too fast. If you're not doing like the infinite iodine or the iodide, if you're not doing the black gold, if you're not doing, what else? The calcium, right? If you're not doing these products, then you're not buffering things. If you're not doing the salt water to flush in the morning, if you're not doing the therapeutic vomiting, if you're feeling really sick, then you need support now to get through this. Because when they used to do advanced water fasting, that was 50 years ago. 50 years ago, okay, we weren't even talking about organic because everything was. The word organic never came up. That was just a new word in the last 50 years. And understand something, okay? Back in 1905, when somebody had cancer, people would come from 2.5 hours to 5 hours, or they'd travel a whole day to come and see it. And they'd say, come, you gotta come. Look at this. You'll never see this again. You'll never see this again. Cancer was rare, that they would call people from all over the place. They didn't even know what to call it. This big tumor thing, right? And now the poison's everywhere. Remember, before you're drinking well water, you're drinking spring water, before you had a garden, before the air was pure, before there was no 5G, there was no blue light. So understand something. What you need to do is get away from civilization, because it's not civilization. It's not civil anymore. You're going to tell me civilization is civil? There was a time when it was. But because we are so easy to be programmed, we attack ourselves and each other. So I'm either going to try to create a community of like-minded people that might want to unconditionally love themselves and not attack each other and get rid of their temper tantrums, or I just want to go and be left alone. I do. Next step, B plan is I'm hasta la vista, you know? Because, you know, it's almost like a point that people don't know how to love anymore. They're just desperate for it, because you can't live without oxygen and you can't live without love. But love is just an ingredient that's so damn toxic. You give me some, I'll give you some, and if you don't, I won't give you any. And I just don't want to play that game. I think the human race is on the verge of extinction unless it learns unconditional love and goes back to nature. And really, you know, I think you've got to give up most of the materialistic things that you think you really need. If you,
Maybe they'll let us live in here.
what?
Materialism. Except maybe they'll let us live in here.
I'll tell you something. That's probably going to happen. You've entered a whole different world now. Do you actually think that I would be here with you if it wasn't for what was going on right now? Listen, even with what's going on, the quotes for having a room in a place like this were $24,000. Yeah, everybody has just lost it when it comes to money. They looked at my website and said, "You do a commercial for us." Where's that commercial?
Almost done.
Okay.
I got a drone guy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you do a commercial for us and we'll negotiate. So then I did a couple one-a-days for them, and they took a look at the website and the price just kept dropping, 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 right? So, you know, they need us right now, okay? Things are going to change even more drastically, guys. You know, everybody hopes for the best, but we can't do that. Let's really look at what's going to go on, and then let's strategize like they've done to us. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm strategizing. Yeah. I've got all the fig leaves on order.
We're actually just over there when we were walking.
Really?
All those leaves, you got whatever size you wanted.
Oh, well, thanks. Maybe you could fit us all later.
My shows.
I don't know. I think I've had a pretty good day. What do you guys think? We will finish the products tomorrow morning, and we'll do the energy medicine tomorrow afternoon. And then I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to sit really peaceful, and I want you to tell me a story. I want you to tell me a story about when you think you lost it. I want the story tomorrow for those who will speak up in the morning first thing. I want the story when you think, I can tell you the exact story when I lost it. You want to hear it?
Yes. Sure.
Okay. There was a few other things, but this one did it. I was 6 years old, and it was 11 o'clock at night. And my parents got me up, and they said that I went next door and broke the plum or cherry tree. I don't know what kind of tree. It was a fruit tree. I didn't do it. So we had boarders. There was a whole bunch of people in the room. They pulled my pants down. They spanked me hard. And then they sent me off to bed. That was it. I just needed that. There was a lot of other things in my life, but that was the end of it. I fucking hate myself. And then guess what I did? For the next 6 years, I would bang my head every night before I'd go to bed. And before then, I never wet the bed. And every night I would pee under the bed because I was so scared to go out because I'd get attacked. See? I want to take our world back. My parents weren't bad people. They just, you know what I mean? When I was younger, and I was always in trouble. I get it, but I don't know how many times I got the leather belt on my hands when I was in school, and it was, you deserved it. They don't even want to know why. You just deserved it. And then one day, okay, this guy broke, he cracked, and I was I know I was the joker or whatever the case may be, but he grabbed me, and he grabbed me so hard, he ripped my shirt right off me. Well, I get it, people just get so much anger bottled up inside themselves. And then my mother, then she's really angry. So her goal now was to get him to lose his job, right? People are so messed up. So anyway, she won. She got him to lose his job. I didn't want him to lose his job. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, right? And then after she gets him to lose his job, it's bloody well Christmas, and she buys cufflinks, and I got to go deliver them. It's just like, you see? And that's because she was so hurt. My mother lived in Newfoundland. They lived in this little hut on a cliff. And I'm telling you, I lived with my grandfather. I didn't know it at the time when I was younger. And I lived with my grandfather. There was a well where we got our water. And there was a, there was a hole, okay? We had an outhouse. And there was a hole that went down 300 feet because we were really high up on the cliffs. And the hole was from where they used to cut the head off the animals, and it would go right down into the ocean. So we just put a toilet over it. Anyways, when I lived with him, when they say, how's he now? Well, he's calmed down. He's getting better. Well, no, people don't get better. They don't get better. They just get old, so they don't have the energy to terrorize anymore. And I didn't realize it, but he was still, you could tell that anger inside of him, right? Anyway, so my mother, what I found out was my mother actually, and their mother died, and she was 14, her sister was 12. And then he would just take turns raping them every other day. That's what he would do. And then my mother, when we were older, I couldn't get the relationship. It was like she was angry at him, but then she let him come and live with us. And he was always angry at her because he couldn't live with himself. And I never knew this. See, you just don't know what the dynamics are, right? And I'm telling you something. These psycho elite, they've been doing it since the beginning of time. You've got books where God loves us and hates us, right? You've got where, it's like this. How can I say this? I like to call it dark light. They pretend that they're helping us. They pretend, here's our healthcare system. Here's the system that will help to support single mothers. And I love it. Don't you just love it? There was no money for anything. And then as soon as the COVID came along, there was money to keep everybody home and on the couch. Because money is the illusion. But here's the deal. They control it. But the thing is you can control how much you make by how much you're worth. Keep telling yourself that it's hard to make money. Keep telling yourself that you're poverty. Keep telling yourself that everybody else is lucky. There's nothing lucky about me. I make luck. Okay, you got to stay calm. You got to think about your worth. What can I do to make myself valuable in this time? How can you bring up your value? Don't talk about how you can't make money. How can you become more valuable? Well, for one thing, you could actually, if you wanted to be a practitioner, you could look like one, talk like one, smell like one, eat like one, drink like one, think like one, and guess what? Everybody will want it. But you'll have to love yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't care for yourself, which means you can't care for everyone else. And guess what? People know when you're fraudulent. But don't worry, there's enough fraudulent people that are looking for fraudulent doctors because they don't love themselves, so they just want to stay there anyways. But you're not going to feel satisfied. People will throw money at you when you're worth something to yourself. They will throw money at you. Jason, do they throw money at me? Gosh, if I opened up my consultations again at $450 US, I'd book right out. But I don't want to do that. I want to be here with you. Thanks for joining me today.